Welcome back to Andersen Acres. We're out here with Shadowfax again, who's eating some discarded grass. Yeah, who gave that all to you? Not me. Oh well. Anyway, we're here today because I wanted to talk about body clipping and whether you should body clip your horse or not. So what is body clipping? Body clipping is typically in the spring, when they have their fluffy coat, that nice thick winter coat, it's basically shaving it off. Okay, cutting it down so that they're slick like he is now, even though he's kind of rough right now. What happened to you? Crazy pony. Anyway, so body clipping is just clipping off that winter hair, okay? So should you body clip? We do not, because we don't have to. Before I talk about whether or not you body clip, I also want to mention that if you are going to body clip, you absolutely need to make sure that you have the right tools. You need to actually get clippers for horses because they're not dogs, they're not humans, they're not sheep. Just like you wouldn't use dog clippers on a sheep, you shouldn't use human clippers on a horse. Get the proper clippers for the job, get proper guards so you don't hurt your pony, make sure you are properly equipped. Also, be prepared to have to practice. It is not an automatic skill. And it can, in fact, be very difficult to properly body clip your horse. And the first few times you try it, he's going to look ridiculous. So just know that it's an acquired skill. You're not going to automatically be good at it. It'll take some time to kind of learn how the hair pattern is and learn which way to cut, which way not to cut. It's a skill that needs a lot of practice. So make sure you give yourself time to practice before you clip your pony for a show. So, whether you clip or not is kind of up to you, but I do want to dispel a myth. Because some people think if you don't clip that woolly coat off in the spring, they're going to have that woolly coat all summer. They will not. They will shed it out, even without the help of a shedding blade. They will drop that thick hair. Okay, it will happen. You just have to wait for it to happen. So you don't have to clip, but you can. You do not have to, though. It will fall off on its own. All of that fuzzy hair that he had in the spring fell off on its own, with a little help from a shedding blade that I took to him a couple of times just to help loosen it up. But they will shed it on their own, so they do not have to be clipped. They will shed unassisted. There are legitimate reasons that you might want to body clip your pony. Everyone has their own reasons. The first is if you show. If you show your mini horse, you're probably going to be clipping them because mini horses are almost always shown clipped, especially if it's the winter or the early spring when all the ponies are fluffy and fantastic. You're probably going to have to clip off that winter coat. So if you are interested in showing, you're probably going to need to clip your pony. Also, if you have a working mini, so whether they work in harness or in halter, you might need to clip those areas where the equipment goes just for the pony's comfort. So if you do have a working horse, don't be surprised if you decide, you know what, I got to clip where that harness goes so that there's a little bit less rubbing. That's completely okay. That's a legitimate reason to clip. You might want to clip for your pony's comfort, especially if you have an unseasonably warm spring. So now we're in Canada, but we have had springs where we went from 30 below to scorching hot in a week, and it's ridiculous, and the ponies can't really cope with that because they'll still have that fluffy winter coat. It's completely okay to clip then because you want to make them comfortable, and they will roast. So if you get suddenly really hot from being really cold and they haven't had time to shed out their coats, you have an unseasonably warm spring, you might want to clip just so that you know your pony is comfortable. You also just might want to. You might just want to clip your pony. You might just think, you know what, he's looking real shaggy, he's taking forever to shed out, I'm just going to clip him. As long as the winter has passed, clip away. As long as you have practiced and your pony's not scared and you're enjoying it and he's having fun, there's no harm in it. You don't have to clip, but it's not going to hurt your pony, okay? He's okay. He definitely is okay if you clip. So sometimes a rough body clip, so you're not being real specific, you're just kind of taking off the long shaggy stuff, is actually easier than taking a shedding blade to the pony. As someone who uses the shedding blade, it can take a very long time to properly rip out all that hair with the shedding blade. Sometimes a rough body clip where you just get the loose stuff off is way easier. Okay, so you might opt to clip just because standing there with a shedding blade for 4.5 hours is not your idea of fun. So maybe you'll clip for that reason. Generally, a clip is not necessary if you're not showing, so you can either clip or not clip to your heart's content. You don't have to do it, you can do it. It's entirely up to you. There are pros and cons to each. I mean, the pro is of not clipping, you don't have to clip. You don't have to do the effort. The pro of clipping is your pony looks all cleaned up much earlier. So it's really up to you. Some people will say you have to clip. Someone else will say you should never ever clip. Really, it depends on circumstance and what you prefer. Maybe you just want to. And that's okay. As long as you're enjoying it and the pony's enjoying it, there's no harm in it. You're not going to hurt your pony by clipping. As long as you're using the correct tools, using the correct guards so you don't nick your pony. You don't want to nick their skin. But as long as you're using the correct tools and the correct technique, and you and your pony are both enjoying it, there's absolutely no harm in clipping your pony. So that is about it for us here today at Andersen Acres. Clip your pony, don't clip your pony, but have fun while you're doing it. We'll see you tomorrow.